to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists. Today, we conclude our coverage of the Alien franchise as we prepare to move on into our next project. But it ends here. Alien Romulus. How are we feeling about Alien Romulus, my boy? Joseph George, what's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, we've finally, I can say I've gotten the Alien franchise under my belt, even though we're going into new territory here very soon. But already seen it, this one, and very much thought that out of the 3 rewatches I had, that this would be the, not to say that I was looking the least forward to it, but the only rewatches I had was Alien and Aliens, other than this. So it's like, how do you...
No way it stacks.
Compare to that?
Yeah.
So, we got through the original DOG. That one is just on a tier of its own. But this one was way, way more closer to Aliens than I once thought, or once just ever thought it could be. I don't know. It elevated, I feel like, on this watch rather than got worse.
That's exciting to hear. That's exciting to hear because we are in different boats. I'm going to go ahead and do the rundown real quick. I usually do it at the beginning, but I drank a little before I hopped on and I did things out of order. So, the movie was released on August 16th, 2024. Tomorrow, the movie turns 1 year old. It was written for the screen by Fede Alvarez and Rodo Sayagues, and directed by Fede Alvarez. I really, really loved this movie last year. I thought it caught a bad rap, generally. And I think that a really, really key difference between the way I look at a movie like this and the way that I look at a movie like Rogue One, which are functionally the same type of movie, depends on how much I love what you're going for. This movie recreates the same tension that Alien tried to bring with aesthetics that Aliens had. It incorporates elements from Alien Resurrections and even Alien 3 to an extent. It brings back Prometheus and Covenant in a pretty major way. Yeah. With the goo. They love the black goo. So similar to Rogue One in that it brings back all these elements from something you've seen before. It's slotted between 2 very famous movies. And I think that when it comes to nostalgia bait, which is what I think both of these movies are, if I actually have nostalgia for it, like I do with Star Wars, it's going to land a little better.
I like that comparison a whole lot. Rogue One in this. Didn't think of the movie like that, but that's like a very apt, analogy and clear of which one is better. Or just which one does
and for
work
more
better.
reasons than simply nostalgia bait. How about the digital necromancy with both Peter Cushing and Ian Holm? There's a little bit there's a little bit more than you'd think that connects the two, and that's why, like, generally, I do enjoy the movie more than I dislike the movie. I enjoy the movie. It is a great time. It's super fun. There's nothing that I'm like expressly like, god damn, this sucks. No, it doesn't. It's better than Resurrections. I'd even argue that it is a better made movie than Alien 3, but I don't think it's as original as either. And I think that in a franchise that grows this long and has such sparse and sparing tastes, everything is everywhere. Alien is different than Aliens, and Alien 3 is different than Aliens, and Alien Resurrection is different than Alien 3, and then Covenant and Prometheus, obviously they have a little bit of similarity, but even they are different in terms of the aspects they use to tell their story. Romulus obviously loves Alien and Aliens, and I think that ultimately, in a franchise that is so fresh, usually, regardless of what you know about it, every movie is a little different. it feels a little tired to me. And that's a little disappointing on the revisit. I didn't want to not like it as much as I did on the revisit.
I would, at first I thought that here, I mean, compared to Covenant and, Prometheus, they're obviously going for it. There's no holding back. So not to say that they're not unique, but the unique parts of this movie, they're like unique situations for the Alien franchise in itself, I feel like. But it's not like trying anything crazy, there isn't anything that is massively new. It's just zero gravity, fighting them in zero G, which that surprisingly hasn't happened before.
Yeah, great idea. Great idea.
That was cool. But yeah, it's not, we're not the newest thing is that they found the xenomorph, cut it open, and did some more research on it and created black goo to
specifically the one from Alien too, which is funny. That like they were we found the Nostromo wreckage and we found the alien. That's a fun
one you all know.
That's a fun so that's why I'm like again, it's not that I think the movie's bad because it's not. It's very good looking. The sound design's incredible. I love Kaylee Spaney. I love David Johnson. Both of them are fucking incredible. Definitely two of my favorite performers in the franchise. I didn't realize it was Isabella Merced in this movie either, by the way.
I know.
I've grown to appreciate her work a little bit more in the last year, after Superman specifically with Hawk Girl and that portrayal, and you with The Last of Us. But
that was
I want funny to see Isabella Merced and Kaylee Spaney acting across from each other when Kaylee Spaney is kind of like the I don't know, aesthetically very, very similar, I feel like, to Belle Ramsey's character in The Last of Us.
Oh, wow. Yeah, actually a little bit. And like Civil War-esque, I don't know. It's kind of like similar, kind of post, I don't know, just one's a zombie apocalypse, the other's just human apocalypse, pretty much. But no, yeah, that was I don't know. I did. That was the one thing I did appreciate on this rewatch was just her. Noticing it is Isabella Merced, which I've. The Last of Us really, really boosted her for me.
Dude, and she's good too, dude. That's a scream queen right there,
dude. Her like horror shit was like it was giving me. She could be a silent horror. Like back in the classic era, before sound was even a thing. Like she has the face. I don't know, the screams, the tears welling up.
She's great. She's great. Definitely one of the parts of the movie that I didn't realize I loved as much as I did the first time. That's why I don't want to come out of the gate and be like, oh, I do not like this movie. No, I think with time. Instantly last year when the movie came out, I'd watched all of the Alien franchise for the first time. I was super excited about it. It came out to lukewarm reviews from people I respected, and I kind of wanted to defend it from that, So I forgave a lot of what I perceived to be like, oh, yeah, I could see how you don't like that, but I don't know, it works for me. And a lot of that stuff this time around, it went the other way for me, and I didn't anticipate that. But the things that I do love about the movie, namely, are Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson. They are just so fucking great. Rain is an easy character pick, and David Johnson as Andy is an easy performance pick for me. And I think you could easily switch those if you wanted.
Yeah, true. Could go. I feel like that's the part that I actually just remember from the last watch that I had was their storyline. Like it was him, kind of just being the naive kind of synthetic at first, and then learning that he couldn't actually go to the planet they were going to, and then making the switch and ultimately being us. That was kind of the only thing that I did remember. Surprisingly, like the black goo. Kind of something that I would probably usually be all over in movies and stuff. I don't know. I forgot that was even in the movie. And when it popped back up, I'm like, oh yeah,
no substantial. Well, and that's the other thing for me is that I appreciate them incorporating Covenant and Prometheus in a compelling way, and it actually does lend itself to the narrative pretty importantly, as Isabella Merced injects herself with it, and it creates what looks like a really fucked up engineer.
Yeah.
It's just skin and bone basically with alien aesthetics, but it looks like an engineer.
Like the
we're
first
almost
one though, interestingly that this feels like an early form of them, or I don't know, it feels like this comes well after the loop.
We're reverse engineering the engineers, like the engineers splice humans with the shit that makes the aliens, and we spliced humans with the alien shit that would make engineers. And that's weird. That's why again, not everything about the movie does not work for me. I think that there's some really interesting ideas, especially stuff that Alien Earth could play with.
I feel like
the concept
that has to be where they're
right.
going, right?
And we are releasing this episode after Alien Earth has premiered. We will have covered that on Geek With Me. The first 2 episodes of Alien Earth we will have covered on Geek With Me, by the way. We have not watched it yet. We are recording in advance. So just want to make that clear. We don't know anything about Alien Earth.
Yes.
I would love if Alien Earth plays with the concept of Weyland-Yutani finding or something with the goo. Like the goo and all of that stuff from Prometheus and Covenant is the only stuff they can even really play with at this point. So I'd be very interested in that.
That's true. Yeah, there's not much. I mean, unless they're like, all right, fuck it, alien mixed with dog, alien mixed with cat, alien mixed, and just other animals and creatures. Is feel like the only other thing we could do. And but yeah, the black goo would be very interesting. Like if this is, I think. Let's see. Isabella Marcet, she after the birth, I guess she was fine. It was just normal. It didn't actually kill her.
No, because she just gave birth to a weird fucking egg.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. It wasn't even, and then it wasn't
even the giant fucking baby. It was just it grew rapidly like a xenomorph. But it was a baby at first, and
the xenomorph here actually formed its own cocoon, and grew a little bit in there. Was that? I feel like that wasn't expressly maybe their nests or their hallway, and stuff. I feel like maybe that has been shown, but that them explicitly hatching into a little xenomorph and then making their little cocoon to just grow into big xenomorph.
Right. That's not something that they've portrayed for sure.
That was cool to see, and I don't know, I guess what the heck happened whenever he put the shotgun up in there, and then there was sulfuric acid bleed out, and it looked like something died, and then it just lived anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point. I have no idea what the fuck happened there.
Yeah, there's a couple things like that, I feel like, in the movie where it's like, oh, well, okay, well, all right.
Again, it is fun. The action's intense. It's really, really, it's really well shot. That's something that I'll always give this movie credit for, is that I think it's very good looking. And it's one of the things that makes the Ian Holm choice all the more befuddling as a movie that seems to pride itself on looking good and going out of its way to look good. It's a bizarre choice to do something like this knowing you can't get it right. Not to say that there even is a way to get it right, but certainly not this. And I tried a lot in my head to justify his presence, because last year my thought was if you're playing with the duality, the Romulus and Remus sort of thing, wouldn't it be cool if the one who sways Andy to be on his side is another version of Andy? It's another version of that android. That would be very cool. David Johnson would get to play a double role. It would solve a lot of the problems and would make a lot more sense and be a lot more interesting than any justification I could come up with. But one of the justifications I did come up with, which isn't terrible, but is a real, just kind of a technicality so that you can get away with it, is that they do say oh, you are a mining android. You have been crucial in our colonization efforts. I am a science officer. That is what Ash does now, or Rook in this movie. The problem with that is that nobody in Alien knew Ash was a android, which is hilarious. If he's being mass produced as the science officer, that's a plot hole.
That is true. So a little whoopsies.
No, and that's why I'm like, and that's a nitpick, you know, but it's a nitpick in the service of a larger issue, which is digital necromancy, which is like, you don't really need to do that. And I understand that Ian Holmes' widow said that this is something he would have liked to have been a part of. Ridley Scott was a big proponent of it. He really liked it. I don't, you know, I don't care that that's the case. You know,
even had a practical built version of him that they used, and that was on screen first before he was activated, and like the, you know, whatever the AI, whatever it came into play, that looked better to me. And if they just, I don't know, like if they made an animatronic and it was Disney fucking, you know, like Disney World moving the mouth barely, and I could even, I feel like that's 100 times better.
I think it's better. I think it's still a little weird.
Yeah. It's like, you know, I don't know.
I do think it's better though, like, because it would work. It's a robot. A robot that's not functioning at full capacity. You know, like,
yes, it's in half anyways. It's like all fucked up. It's like,
so that's where I like, there's a lot of issue to take with that sequence that I think could have been solved with a much more interesting way to expand on the duality of Andy in this movie. And I think that would have created a lot more, a lot more tension for that character. They play it at this time like the other humans are afraid of what he's like the humans are afraid of what he's becoming. I would have liked it if Andy was afraid of what he was becoming. You know what I'm saying? Like if he was like, I can't help but be drawn to this. I can't help but like recognize it as the perfect organism, and playing with the sort of evolutionary idea that robots, all the androids, all the synthetics or artificial people have a soft spot for xenomorphs is really interesting. Like Rook being like they're the perfect organism, you know, like I feel like it's an interesting continuation of the kind of stuff that David was saying. And I think that I wish we knew the middle point there. David engineering the xenomorphs, Ash being kind of obsessed with them. What happens in between? I want to know what happens in there, you know?
Yeah. And man, it does just having two Davids. I mean, I can't believe it is that simple of kind of like of how to fix it, because I feel like there is always one. You can complain about something you don't like of a movie, but if you can't really come up with a way, I
100% know a way to make this movie better.
That's like,
you know, like I can't even think of a hole. You know, like that's usually where I'm like usually I'm like, okay, and I don't know exactly how you do the exact same thing. With a different looking character, and it's better. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, like I said, Andy would have to be tweaked a little bit. You know, like the Andy we know would have to be tweaked a little bit as far as like his response to him and all of that good stuff. But even that, I don't know how much would change. You know, like I don't know.
Just in. Like I think the idea that they're going with of Andy he had training wheels, you know, and then he had his training wheels taken off whenever he had the chip kind of inserted or whatever. It would have played so much better if like the same version of him walked out of that room and was like, "Oh, hello, everybody," in like, or you know, even a in half version of him was functioning better than he was already, or something like that. And yeah, I mean, it kind of, I don't know, it does. I wonder if like that was the original idea, because the ship, or like the duality of the ship, was like barely used whatsoever. I feel like it was just a cool name for the ship, or just like a cool. It's like okay,
like
it's not
naming a movie Alien Romulus almost implies that you're going to name a movie Alien Remus, and that's literally not possible after this movie. At least not in the context of what Romulus meant in this movie. You know. It's an interesting continuation of the fact that Prometheus was the name of the ship and Covenant was the name of a ship, and now, you know, like Romulus was the name of one half of this station, but now the other half is also destroyed. So,
yep, it's gone. And you know, I do still love they stuck with that. You know, the only way to get rid of these fuckers is just put them out in space, or blow them out the airlock, or you know, there's no killing them. And who knows? We didn't even try to really kill. No guns, and the guns we had ran out of ammo, so we were only with.
Well, they did shoot the ones that are floating. They're acid blood.
Oh yeah, no, that was. I guess I'm talking the whatever the hell comes out at the end.
Yeah, no, we do not shoot that guy. Yeah,
what I don't know what a call. Yeah, let's see. What is he's casted as the Offspring? Wow,
the Offspring.
Yeah, okay. Wow,
and it's also surprisingly practical.
Wow. Yeah,
that
this
gentleman is extremely tall.
Yeah.
Now,
Robert
obviously, they are. Look up that guy and look up the Offspring alien Romulus behind the scenes.
Romulus BTS.
Because that's the sort of shit that will give you nightmares. Because that is a guy in a costume. That is a whole ass guy in a costume.
Ooh, it's like too real, actually. That's gonna haunt. Oh my god. Yeah, this.
And now that I'm looking at it behind the scenes, I don't know how much they're enhancing it.
Yeah, like, why does it look kind of freakier? I don't like.
I think it's because it's so real, like
out of context. Like this looks in a
like Romulus. Like it's in a movie. It's in a horror movie. You're ready for something scarier. That's just like 5 foot. I don't know. Kaylee Spaney is not helping the scale. She's itty bitty. You know, she's got to be short.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But regardless, that is who I kind of want to talk about next because I really do. I do adore her. Another Missourian here, Kaylee Spaney. Hey. She was she grew up in the same, I believe, in the same town as Chapel Roan, which is cool. Like they went to school together and shit.
No way. That's pretty sick. Damn.
I might be making that up, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
I'll take your word on this.
I don't know why I'd be making that up. That feels ludicrous. Okay, raised in Springfield, Missouri. Yeah, I was right. Okay.
Okay, Kaylee Spaney and an interesting duo there that I knew.
Crazy
clue.
duo. That's awesome. I love both of them. And Kaylee Spaney, there's this interesting group of actors that I've been trying to build out, which is young actors whose movies I've seen only in theaters. And there's surprisingly, Kaylee Spaney is one. I've seen 3 of her movies. And I've seen all of them in theaters. I saw Priscilla in theaters, Civil War in theaters, and this in theaters. The one that leads that is Katie O'Brien. Every Katie O'Brien movie I have watched, I saw in theaters. But she's a part of that group, and it makes sense. You know, like another one of those actresses who feels like she was born to be on a big screen. And there's that moment whenever she goes back for Andy, which is her hero moment. You know, whenever she lifts the elevator and her arm is all flexed and everything, and then she holds the gun up and stuff like that. That is the moment where John Ford zooms in on John Wayne and like that's your hero. You know, like that's your movie star, folks. And there will be purists who are like, did you just compare John Ford and John Wayne to Fade Alvarez and Kaylee Spaney? Yes, I fucking did. Neither of them are racist. Love that. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure.
You don't know until you know.
That's true. That's true. So, but I'm pretty sure that Kaylee Spaney and Fade Alvarez are cool. They seem cool.
You're right about Kaylee Spaney having the she has it too on screen.
She has it.
Like in Civil War too as well. I feel like it was noticeable.
Absolutely. She's acting across from Kirsten Dunst in that movie, and you're like. This person belongs there. You have no issue with it. And, I mean, the same thing could be said for Priscilla. Obviously, she's acting across from like Jacob Elordi in that movie. So it's not as like.
That's right. She's Priscilla. Okay. I always forget that.
Yeah. And she's fucking great in it. You know, like it's one of those things where you just, that movie doesn't have a lot of interesting stuff to say about Priscilla Presley, in my opinion. I think it's more just situational. It's like, look at what happened to Priscilla Presley. Okay. Yeah. And that's kind of it. You know, it doesn't really have anything interesting to say from her perspective. You just kind of empathize with her. And then by the end of the movie, you go, oh man, that's kind of sad. Everything you get out of it, you get from Kaylee Spaney, you know, like at least that's how I felt about it.
That's good. I mean, and at least she doesn't have surprisingly, her filmography. It's very light.
It's thin.
Right? Like it's crazy thin. That this is her run.
She's in Knives Out 3.
Oh, Okay.
That's her next one.
There
yeah,
we
her
go.
next one is Wake Up Dead Man. So hopefully that plays in theaters too.
Okay, wow.
They're really pushing for it. Ryan Johnson and Daniel Craig.
I like the sound of that because I mean everything else that she has is shorts or like TV. I mean, but Priscilla, Civil War, Romulus, and then now Knives Out.
That's a good run. That's a good. She was in Pacific Rim too.
Really? Oh,
the second Pacific Rim. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say. I'm like, what? I'm like, did I just miss her completely? Okay.
No, not Pacific Rim. Also, Pacific Rim 2, the number.
Yes.
But
yes.
yeah, no. So she's. I really do adore her, and she's kind of on the come up. She feels like she is going to be the Janelle Monáe or the Ana de Armas in the next Knives Out. Like that's kind of what I expect for her to be. Daniel Craig's, right hand. But because that's what she feels like. She feels like she fits in that tier. She feels like she belongs next to Daniel Craig the whole goddamn movie. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how good she is, and I really adore that this movie doesn't try to, aside from the Ian Holm insert, it's largely comprised of young actors, unknown faces. You know, Kaylee Spaney wasn't an A-lister by any means. David Johnson had only been, as far as I know, in like Rye Lane, which I told you about a lot. He's in that rom-com Rye Lane, very, very great one. And then the Isabella Merced, she was Dora the Explorer. That was kind of it. There's not a lot that you're looking at and going.
I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah, she was live action Dora, Isabella Merced. But
okay, yeah, then okay, she's definitely gone up. That's for sure from Dora. And Madam Web, no way. Was she one of the three? She was one of the... Yeah. Oh my god, that's such a forgettable movie. That is insane that I have zero idea of anything other than the ADR. That wasn't ADR in the movie. I don't know. That wasn't even lined up whatsoever.
Hold the phone. I'm doing the math here, and having seen this in theaters, Superman in theaters, and Madam Web in theaters, she might also be an actress who might also be one I haven't seen a movie outside of the theater for.
Okay. Yeah, wow.
Look at that.
I did see Madam Web in theaters.
Yeah, we did. We saw it in a completely empty theater and laughed aloud and talked shit on it the whole time. One of my favorite. That is the best thing about that movie is that it's one of the best theater experiences I've ever had.
Man, that was nice. That
was fun.
Sit back and have a great time. Wow.
Every time the villain would speak, we'd be like, "He's not fucking talking."
Yeah. Oh man, crazy is a good list though, or a good thing to like keep track of.
It's fun, I didn't realize it until I saw maybe it was the trailer for The Running Man or something. I was thinking about it as it pertains to Katie O'Brien, and I was like, oh shit. I've watched 4 movies with Katie O'Brien in them, and all in theaters. It was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She's like she's the rebel leader in the quantum realm. Mission Impossible 8, Love Lies Bleeding. Oh, what's the other? There's another. How can I not think of it? This is a shame.
Twisters?
Yes. Twisters. That was the other one. Thank you. So like it is a fun thing to keep track of. I didn't realize I had 2 in this one, but I also don't count straight to streaming movies. So if the movie made its way out here and I got to see it, it counts. But if it's like limited release, New York and LA, fuck that. What am I going to do?
True. Yeah.
So hopefully Wake Up Dead Man doesn't break that streak. I would love to see, and frankly, I would love to see that movie in theaters regardless, but, neither here nor there. Love Kaylee Spaney, love Isabella Merced, love David Johnson. David Johnson's the other guy who I'm so excited for that guy's career. He's going to be so goddamn good.
Yeah, the immediate switch, he does have to play a little bit of a double role, I guess.
Oh yeah,
the different chips he has in his head. So a little bit. I would have loved the actual double role, but what he has, and the little seize up moments he has, that's not an actual robot seizing up.
Right.
That's him. So sometimes that was the one thing that was a little repeated sometimes, or like he went into that mode a little too easy.
Right.
Like every time he got thrown or something like that, he like had to be reset. So like it would have been nice to have something else to him, like you said, like the internal conflict. Like if he was like, he's been this way for so long that this upgrade, like he has the memories of not doing that direct. I don't know, like if being a synthetic and living and growing up in a normal, life, because I feel like he's not the normal synthetic that we've seen in the franchise. They're all scientific or out there for a purpose, but he was just kind of like a brother, a family member of sorts,
right.
or just kind of like
that's why, like, I love the character, but I do just think that there's a lot more opportunity to explore him compellingly, especially since this is the movie that immediately follows David's arc.
Yeah.
We just got done dealing with David in the movies, a story about how the first artificial intelligence, like the first David woke up, it would be interesting if this one kind of in a Westworld fashion learned to wake up, not necessarily was just like awake, but like chose his love for, Rain, at some point his directive, he had to decide, and he decides, that would be, instead of it being like, oh, I'm going to change your programming back. And at the end, it's a sweet moment. I love the moment whenever she's like, your new directive is to do what's best for us, not for me. It puts him on the same level. I would have liked if the story put him on the same level, not and that she didn't have to do it, Yeah.
Yeah, that's, Rain and Andy, I really don't have what we got. I don't really have much problems with like how it was portrayed, and surprisingly, like the other crew, that just, you kind of know these people are here to die, even
dead.
Whenever you're coming in for the movie. Like if you're a dick coming into the movie, well, you're gonna be going in some cruel,
Bjorn
it's
was
suck.
Cooked the second he bullied Andy. You're like, okay, you're dead.
All right. So how are you gonna go? So, but I think they did their job. They did what they needed to do in the movie. Tyler, the other guy that was kind of I don't know, just kind of.
He was a good guy.
Yeah,
he was a good guy.
But
and that's the other side. That's the other side. Like if you are just a good guy, you're fucked. If you're a bad guy, you're fucked. There's no.
You're pregnant? We'll a little bit of plot armor, I guess. You could either be giving birth to something crazy, or you're really, really safe. Either
you get no discernible characteristics of your own, and are just kind of there for the beginning of the movie. You're dead.
GG. See you later. But not too many people. This is kind of a small crew.
That's true compared to previous movies.
And the beginning of the movie, very, very. They're all the company. They're slaves for the company, and work this many hours, and then you can do whatever you want. Oh, actually, I'm just gonna hit a button on the computer. Now you have to work more than double what we have asked, or whatever. So it's like I loved the company portrayal at the beginning, but honestly, it kind of left after that. It was it was always kind of there with Rook and like the companies wanting to harvest, but it felt more of just like Rook or like the weird Ashton synthetic twisted thing rather than like the straight up company. But I don't know, it would have been nice to have that a little bit more.
It doesn't. I mean, angle. I guess it has a little bit of that, the same flavor of anti-corporate, anti-capitalist. They're trying to get out from under the boot of Wayland. That is why they are leaving the system, because if they don't, they will never leave. And that's an interesting jumping off point. I really appreciate it, but I do agree to a point that they definitely could have explored it a little more thoroughly. But there's also the side where like they do have Ash, who is still acting on behalf of the company, or Rook, who is still acting on behalf, because he's like, you need to return it to the base so that it can be studied more and developed more. And, so like.
Was it Alien 3 or I think it might have, or it might have been Resurrection, where something happened and the company was like, oh, that's what's going on? We'll be there in 2 minutes or like 2 hours
3.
actually.
It was
Yeah, so
3, yeah.
I feel like that could have been like an insert of like, oh wait, you found the black goo and you're not just a random base that's gonna destroy later on. Like, okay, well we're gonna be there.
We're on our way.
Yeah, like it's not just the alien, you know, the creatures they're running away from. It's like, oh shit, if the company gets here, we're even more fucked. Or like, you know, so it's I feel like that could have been maybe the threat of the company actually showing up. But yeah,
this movie does have one of the best chest burster moments, though.
Ooh, oh,
I do
God.
love the X-ray wand. That's fucking sick. That's sick.
Oh, and to establish it before, you know, was just
Yeah.
like, oh, that's cool, and then it's like, I feel like you're like,
no.
It's like, and so I mean, I feel like there were some things that I just forgot. I think, and then on rewatch, they're like coming back to me, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right, we do go here, and so like
we cook, it's
like I have zero complaints with how it, you know, the sets, the lighting, I think they're back. I feel like
great looking movie.
Mm-hmm. So that I don't really have much complaints with at all. But yeah, maybe just to it's hard to say to be more unique, you know. Hey, just be more unique, you know. But it would have been nice to.
Well, and that's why, like, I don't get me wrong. The movie also sets out to do exactly what it wanted to do. The way that I put it to you is that this is the most expensive Alien fan film ever made. You know.
Yeah.
And it is. It feels like kids playing in a sandbox. Like, oh, what if we were on a ship with the alien? You know, like, and that's fun. You know, like, don't get me wrong. It's a great time. I just think it's fascinating that even the worst movie in the franchise has a more unique idea and a more unique perspective and story to tell. I think that's kind of wild. And it doesn't inspire. I don't know. Like, I think this movie has rewatchability, but I don't know. I don't think that I'll ever revisit it on its own, and it feels like one that you are supposed to be able to watch on its own.
Yeah.
You know?
I will say, I did put it on. I had a bunch of stuff to set up in my apartment still. I brought new furniture, was moving shit around. So, like, there was stuff to do. And I'm like, all right, I've seen it before. I'm going to be in the same room, literally. So it's not like I'm not going to not see the movie, and I'm gonna do some work while I watch the movie. And then once they get just kind of into the ship and stuff is going down, I just sat down and I didn't get up again, and I just kind of I ended up watching the whole movie, which kind of surprised me. So I mean, there is something to it where
it's got juice, you know. Like, and I think that you earn yourself a lot of leeway when a movie looks this good, sounds this good, and the production design is this good. Like, it is, it's incredibly immersive, you know, and I've got to give it that. That's what makes a lot of the other choices stick out to me so bad. Is how, if everything else about it is this immersive, why every once in a while am I going, what? Like, what, why?
You know, Rook like, breaks the immersion so hard. Like,
hard. And,
that's why, like, did that get past the cutting, or like get past everything? Every check along the way. That's it. Yep. Nope. This is it. This is what we want. Or is it just, we made these promises to Ian Holm, and we had to get him in there. So it's like, well, fuck, we had to put out the best what we got. You know, this is what we have. So here we go.
And I don't even know that it's anything that substantial as far as like reason. It was just like, wouldn't this be interesting? Like, it was just, I think it was just an idea. It wasn't really like
like bringing him back is like, it's not like the alien juice you want. If you're gonna bring someone back, you're bringing back Sigourney Weaver somehow,
right?
You know, if you're gonna necromance someone out of maybe that's just actually too much of a sin. If they did that, then people would be like, all right, you know what, actually this movie, burn it, or, you know, nuke it.
Well, that's
whatever.
The thing. Well, and the difficult thing is at this point in the timeline, she's floating off in a pod somewhere.
Oh yeah, she technically is alive.
She's alive. She's alive, and so is Sigourney Weaver. That's the other, you know, like, so.
Yeah.
That's where it's like it's a little bit harder to be like, I don't know. I don't know. I think that it's one thing to de-age somebody. It's another thing to bring them back to life with CGI. Yeah. I think it's weird.
And I guess maybe they think they're getting away with it because he is a synthetic human in the universe. So it's like, but it's
and that is the reason. That is the reason they could get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was done better, maybe I'd be able to forgive it a little bit more. You know, like it's something that I can't stand the choice in Rogue One. I understand that they wanted to bring back the character of Tarkin. It feels like an important story for Tarkin to take part in. But it also set a really unfortunate precedent where it's like, we even recreated Tarkin. So now you have to recreate everybody else a little bit. You know, like it's just an unfortunate precedent to have been set. Even that it's done very well though. You know what I'm saying? Like it looks exactly like Peter Cushing. It's still a little lifeless behind the eyes, you know, like it's still empty. It's still not something.
It's not,
but there's this weird matte and smoothness to the face that is just bizarre.
We know it instantly. Us humans, we're good as shit of knowing if something's real or fake. I mean, we could just tell instantaneously. And then whenever Rook wakes up, I mean, it's like his teeth or like his mouth, it's like 2-dimensional. It's literally not even 3-dimensional. I don't know. Like it literally just looks like a PNG wrapped around. I don't know. Like it just is. It's crazy that how good the rest of the movie looks that this was pushed through. And I thought, didn't you say that in theaters that it wasn't actually as bad, and then the digital version was somehow even worse?
They altered it ahead of the physical and digital release. And the stills, like I didn't see it in action. I saw shots of it. So I'm like, I don't know strictly that this, I hadn't watched it either. So like, this is the first time I've watched it since the theater. And I won't lie to you, I don't remember it being this bad. But I also don't remember thinking it was good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't like, wow, they did this really, no, like, it's clear they couldn't get it right and didn't know how to.
'Cause I wonder if on a big screen, like in my head, it makes sense for the problems to get even worse. It's bigger, you can see it even clearer, so it should look worse. But like, if it's so much bigger, and
is the compression a problem?
Like, I wonder if I don't know, if like it is actually worse on streaming or on a normal TV versus the big screen. But I mean, I think it's more of the principle that they're doing.
It is.
And the fact that it is digitally done and not just practical or just recasting or just it's just not even use them. I don't know. With maybe Michael Fassbender, a David potential, like a future.
No, and frankly, it doesn't even have to be someone we've seen before. It could just be an
David
android
Johnson.
who worked for the ship. You know, and again, it doesn't even have to be him. It could just be some fucking android.
I Austin Butler. I don't know. You know, just get someone else up in here. Get another young buck.
Fuck
I don't know,
man.
someone, but no. It is more. The movie definitely leaves you wanting more. I think that's for sure. You know, and when I said it's close to Aliens doesn't do that for me. You know, that's kind of the comfort. If there's a comfort movie of the franchise, it's Aliens, I think.
Right.
And this is kind of the movie. I don't know what situation there really is where I'm just kind of turning on Romulus. But it's like, because if I want the modern look, and when it looks, I don't know, technology has reached the pinnacle and everything, it's like, well, I'm going to Prometheus and Covenant for that. Right. It's like, well, we've already done that, and they're much more unique, and we go crazier places. You're right about the fan film. Like, it does feel like they
again, it's fun, you know, like it is a fun movie. I will give it to like, but it just feels like they were going for something more than that. And I mean, it was a crowd pleaser. It made good money. It revitalized the Alien franchise. We would not be getting Alien Earth. Yeah, we would not be getting Alien Earth without Alien Romulus. You know what I'm saying? Without its success, anyway. So, like, I do appreciate it. I appreciate that it has done something for the Alien franchise that allows us to keep engaging with it, and it does present an opportunity to create something better. But yeah, I just think that this leaves a little more to be desired than I'd previously felt, which is really the reason I'm a little let down by it. Is I don't watch a lot of movies a second time and its flaws are like revealed to me. It's usually just like, oh wow, that was better on a first viewing. Not that it was worse by any means. It was just like, oh, I'd already seen it and that was that. No, there were things that I did not realize I didn't like the second time around.
Yeah, I think in maybe my viewing this time, I was like, I'm going to focus on things that I don't know, I didn't before. The only things that I know I'm liking, which like Isabella Moore said, I feel like that was a big saving, or like just not she like
was
the,
great.
Like Haley Spaney, I feel like is my performance if I had to give one for the overall movie, but like the peak performance I feel like is actually Isabella Marced, or like the highest height reached. But the overall total I think goes to Kaylee Spaney, and then my character would probably be Andy. Just the back and forth I think was actually with what we got for him. I think it could have been a lot cooler with the true duality of him if we got that. But
they still do. They still do it. Like they're still effective.
Yeah, he's holding down his neck, and he's like he knows it needs to happen, but he's like, no, I can't. This is too good, like no,
he's
come
like,
on.
I like being like this, yeah.
Yes. He's like, I can finally make my own decisions, and I cannot stutter, and I can move my motor.
Well, and that's what's interesting too. Is that's what it is an interesting allegory for ableism, I think, a little bit. Like this robot has a stutter and has motor skill issues and is incapable of performing tasks that others of him are supposed to be able to, and that's why like I do think that there is an interesting idea there, and then he's presented with this opportunity to fix it, but it sacrifices who he is. So he ultimately agrees to let it to be who he is. And I think that is affecting. I do think that is a good moment in the movie. And that's why I'm like, I don't think that this movie is without its merit. I just think that it could have done better, Yeah,
it would have felt, I don't know, kind of nice to, like, the us at the end is good. And, like, the moment is nice. But, like, it still feels like I don't know, like, do what's best for you. I felt like is what I thought was coming at first, and then the us actually surprised me a little bit. Like it is the right idea, but am I wrong for saying that it feels a little selfish still? Like like after all of that, I
had the same thought. I do think it's of course it's symbolic of like we are going everywhere together. There will never be a time where what's doing best for us will not be what's best for me, and it will also be what's best for you. Like it's equal. It's fair. I know you're not asking about that. I do tend to agree. I do worry about a robot hearing that your new directive is to do what's best for you.
That's true.
Like I don't even know. I don't even know if a robot would know what that means. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be kind of like, how do you define what best for me is? But like, when a human's involved, that what's best for it typically is keeping it alive, and protecting it and keeping it safe. Like that is, so that's where I'm like, I think that's the reason they went with us. But what I do think would have been like, even just a slight tweak, and maybe this wouldn't play well. But I don't know, like just an idea, like David Johnson asks like permission to dictate a new directive.
Yeah.
And it's like, I do what's best for us, like, and she agrees, like, that'd be interesting, like, that would be cool. Like, it was his idea.
Ooh.
Like,
what if no directive at all? Is that even possible? Is that like, you don't have a directive? Like, your directive is to live, or I don't know, or like, is to just experience life, like, just,
I think that is too big a leap from the story they set up. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
true.
I think that if they had done a little bit more with the whole, like, yearning for being, like, he wants to be that version of Andy, but also recognizes that it's making him cold. If they would have dove into that just a little bit more, I think we could have earned an ending like that. But I do think roughly the level they're at, like, a directive that in effect does free him, but it's not the same as, like, David, of course, at the end of Covenant, where he is completely acting of his entirely own volition. It's not the same thing. Yeah. But I do think that a baby step toward that at the end of this movie could have been very, very compelling. And it would have set up an interesting series, because apparently, like, I think this is getting a sequel. I think we are getting a second movie with, that is a Fade Alvarez movie. I don't know that it's strictly going to be about Rain and Andy. But I'm pretty sure that we are getting another Fade Alvarez movie.
I guess
so. Setting up an arc where a robot does slowly wake up would be very, very interesting, and they still could do that. It's not like it's an impossibility, but I think we could have taken a step towards it in this episode, or in this movie, if they were going to play with it.
Yeah, the timeline, I'm even looking it up. It doesn't look like people agree on the timeline, at least where Alien Earth is inserted. Everything else is very concrete of where it is, but I'm seeing that Alien Earth is before Prometheus. Like, this is the earliest
shot.
Like,
no shot. I'm pretty sure it's between Covenant and Alien. I'm fairly certain.
I mean, I'm seeing 2092 for multiple things that are popping up. And Prometheus is 2093. This is 214, like 2142, or whatever. We're like well in the future, but yeah, a lot of it is this is the earliest thing in the timeline, and that is not what I guess I thought at all. But first century AD. Oh no, this is the official Alien Wiki.
Okay, it takes place in 2120, which would be post-Covenant, pre-Alien.
What the heck are all of these graphics showing that it's coming before Prometheus? That would have been cool if...
we have an opportunity to do something. See, that's the thing, though, is I don't know how much interesting stuff we can do there. Like, I do think that Prometheus is the most interesting first step towards this. Like, beyond that, you're getting origins of the engineers. You're just getting movies about the engineers. And I don't, like, that could be interesting, but I don't think you're setting a whole show about it. I think Ridley Scott could make that show. I don't think that Noah Hawley's gonna make that show.
So yeah, I like the being post David, post Covenant. I don't know, that does sit a lot more to do.
That's the most interesting place in the timeline right now to tell a story.
Sure. Oh yeah, there's a whole lot to work. So I guess we haven't quite gotten to this black goo. So after Covenant, but before
after Covenant, before Alien, which leaves us roughly I want to say 100-year gap ish, 80-year gap. And if Alien Earth takes place 50 years before Alien, we're a little removed from Covenant. That's why I'm like, a third David movie would have gone fucking ballistic. Like, just knowing exactly what he does there. Cause Alien Earth, unless Michael Fassbender ends up being a surprise main character, is not going to be about that. It's going to be about something that comes after it. And even that, I'm a little concerned with the show's capacity to continue those themes compellingly.
Cause if David, it feels like we've only seen 1% of what David has actually accomplished. You know, like we have seen one breakout of like like the alien that we got, you know, Ripley and that alien, I don't know, everything is like just, it feels like there should be these fuckers everywhere. And so that's like, if they do play with that, you know, or like maybe the whole ship got fucked, or, you know, David was on the, you know, on his research grind, but then the ship blew up and all of them died, you know. I guess that could happen, but I don't know. It would be really cool if, because I'm wondering if there's some way that they could write around where David isn't the ones doing it, where he got you know, he couldn't continue it, but someone else is picking up where he left off. Right. And that's what we're doing.
Like, another thing that's really beneficial is that I've only ever watched the Alien Earth teaser, which is just vibes, basically. There's no premise indicated. It's just like, look at the aesthetics of the alien world. And I'm like, fuck creepy music. Let's do it. Yeah, exactly. So, like, I know absolutely fucking nothing about what we're doing here. If that information is even available.
Yeah, I guess
But I'm excited, you know, like, I'm excited to get invested in a TV show from a franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know what, from a movie franchise, like, it was, I mean, I guess the Penguin counts, but, like, barely.
Yeah, the Penguin
I don't know, like, the other ones are, like, Star Wars and Marvel, which is, like, yeah. Like, of course, I don't know, like, I've long been into those. Like, Alien is relatively new to me.
Yeah,
so like that's exciting.
Or
I'm excited to get like a mention in passing of the USS Prometheus or something. You know, like
Yes, this is this isn't the MCU or like, I don't know. This is if a cameo does pop up, it's actually fucking sick, or like it is actually really cool. But I don't need it at all. Like I'm not.
No, obviously not. But like no matter what they give me, whatever crumbs they give me from movies, I'm going to eat up like the sloppy pig that I am. You know, I'm oinking in that motherfucker.
Yeah, it's gonna be very, because like Star Wars TV and superhero TV, like with the Penguin, and you know, in Peacemaker, I guess, different vein there, but it's like it is superhero, or it is Disney, or like there's that I don't know, this different air to it. But this feels like if Mission Impossible were to have a TV series.
I guess we did just get Dune Prophecy. I just never watched it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes, and I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't quite what I was thinking it was going to be. But I guess I did that with The Last of Us, and then I ate my words when I finished that. So
I still need to get around to it.
Oh, I do. Isabella Marced is the only reason
I'm getting there. I'm getting, you know, I just watched the Fantastic Four, and I'm ready for some more Pedro, and there's a lot that I'm like, and I know he comes back. I know that what happens, but I also know that something else happens, and that I know that what else happens fucks me up irrevocably.
It's yeah. I mean, that show is rough. No matter. I mean, season 1 was terrible. It's not as bad as season 1 was, but yeah, it's still rough to get through. That's for sure.
Dude, but that show just every week was destroying me. Like, I don't think I've ever been such a glutton for punishment the way I was with The Last of Us. Like, I look back on the fact that I watched 9 weeks in a row of The Last of Us season 1 and was like, what the fuck did I do that for? You know, like I loved it. It was a great season of television, but Jesus Christ was I putting myself through it. Every week I was sobbing. But yeah, so there's that. But
who knows? Maybe we'll be. I mean, it doesn't feel like we'll have the happiest time with Alien Earth. I don't think it's going to be a happy hunky dory time.
No, definitely not. But that's what's interesting is that it also cannot just be an Alien movie. It's a show. You know, like it's hours and hours upon hours here. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just do this and what happens in Alien and what happens in Aliens for 7 hours. It will not be entertaining. You know what I'm saying? So like, you've got to be wondering how they are going to expand that narrative. And if they don't, you got to be kind of disappointed, you know, like, At least that's how I'm looking at it. I think that you have way too much time on your hands in a unexplored franchise. You know, like it's done a lot. It has done a lot, but there's still so much you can do. And I think that you just got to find the creative who can do it. And, I want to see it. I cannot wait for Alien Earth. I'm not expecting the world of it or anything, but I hope it doesn't let me down, you know?
Yeah. I think, I'm hoping we're going more just black goo or what it could mean for, more, maybe not quite the big questions of who is our creator, but just like the what can be done now that we know of this, and if we should even do this in the first. I hope all of those are kind of involved there, and here they do just kind of say like Rook is just like it is life itself, and I think we kind of maybe they didn't explicitly say that in Prometheus or Covenant, but it's like it made sense, like it just that's how they grow so fast, right? It is just like literal life force. It feels like
no, I
but yeah, it is nice with the TV show, like that it is a TV show. I feel like that. It kind of just they have to work with these things, or they just have to have so many characters, or are you just gonna be? You want scary moments with random people that are gonna ultimately die? Like I don't know if that's
the thing about TV is that's why it has the capacity to be so much worse, but that's also why it has the capacity to be much more in depth. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like the books of movies. It's you get to hear what the characters are thinking a little bit more, and if you don't, you simply get more of them, which isn't necessarily a good thing. So I just I think that there's a lot more opportunity to fuck up in TV, which is why there's a lot more TV that's not as good. So hopefully they're having the same thoughts we are. It'd be hilarious if nobody thought any of this before writing an Alien TV show, but it is what it is.
Could be very, business mandated. Romulus worked. All right, fuck TV.
Well,
let's get into it.
That's why the guy who wrote it and is like the showrunner behind it, I do find it encouraging. Noah Hawley has done some interesting stuff for TV. I've never watched any of it, but it's all been pretty successul. He did Fargo. He did Legion, which I actually did watch a little bit of. That's a wild TV show. Which is like mind-bending and weird and fucked up. That's why I'm like, I think he could pull off Alien. It's not like it's completely out of the realm of possibility. That's why I'm encouraged also. I think it could be good, and I hope it is. But yeah, I really don't have much else to say about Romulus, as you can tell, given we didn't really talk about it the last 10 minutes. Did we break up?
Oh, okay. We're back. But yes.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
I was being a smartass. I said, well, I don't have much else to say about Romulus. If you can't tell, we haven't talked about it for 10 minutes.
I guess, yeah, it is, more, I thought so. I immediately after watching the movie, I kind of had those thoughts of like, damn, well, I wish I had a lot more actual good to say that it just looked good, and it kind of, I don't know, other than that, but yeah, it's,
I think that's a result of the movie not taking a big enough swing. I think it does. I think it limits itself, and therein it limits what we can say about it. It's just kind of like, it did a nice, fun alien adventure, and it was the Mandalorian of alien movies.
Yeah, a little bit, but we're
Mandalorian. It was the Mandalorian season 3 of alien movies.
Yes, where they tried to do a Rogue One. But man, I didn't think of the necromancy, the in-universe, the timeline where it's like prequel, but not right in the middle. It just all works so well. But yeah, and then Rogue One just kind of doing it a little more, or I guess maybe I do care a little more over there.
They also commit all the way. Like, there's not as massive a thing to do at the end of this movie that like is worthy of everyone dying. Like at least in Rogue One, it's like everybody died, but at least they did it, You don't really have that in this. It'd be like, well, they didn't die, but at least the black goo got back to Wayland Yutani.
Yay! It's like, oh, yippee! So,
I mean, but that would be the alien version of it. It's like, oh, shit's about to get worse. Yeah. Don't you love that? That's why I'm like, maybe they should have done something like that. I don't know. No, I mean, I won't go that far. I have good ideas, but I couldn't tell you how to end a movie properly.
But yeah,
not word for word or anything, but I ultimately, it sounds like I don't like the movie. I do like the movie. It's a perfectly enjoyable watch, and I think that it could pay off a lot. But I don't know that it has yet, which is interesting.
Yeah,
I think it kind of depends on what it creates, which is never a really good thing. What it inspires and what comes of it, but
Remus. So I guess another movie to go after this. It is confirmed just by the creator, not to
I think I've heard that. Let me double check. Will there be a sequel to Alien Romulus?
Okay, in development. Yeah, Fede Alvarez potentially returning. Maybe sequel is intended to continue the story. This is Google AI, so who knows? If it is correct, but no actual trailer, no nothing quite yet. But okay, this finally getting some confirmation 1 day ago on Reddit. This means Andy and Rain will return? According to actor David Johnson, who played the android, the second movie is likely to begin shooting soon. Johnson was quoted saying on the post-cred pod where he was asked directly, I can't share very much, but I will say I don't think you're far off. Your sources have something to them.
Okay.
That's okay. So it's in the works. It's in the background. It's being cooked.
Okay,
so that's cool.
Yeah, no, and I mean, like, if they're gonna make another movie with this production team, it better be to continue Rain and Andy. Like, that is the best part of the movie, and I think that exploring them more would only be more compelling. So, I do look forward to it. But
there we are. Now we only got the
with
new
that
things.
We've knocked out the Alien franchise, and we're covering Alien Earth over on Geek With Me. We're doing that bi-weekly right now, and I'm very, very excited for that. We're doing it every 2 weeks, discussing every 2 episodes. It's going to be a grand old time. Let's see. I think I'm going to do the plugs. If you would, leave a 5-star rate and review and download. You can stick around all the way through the end of this episode where we will do a rating of the film. And then after that, we will be announcing our next project. And I'm very, very excited for that. We are going to be doing a Cinema Surprise. I think we actually did reveal that last week. We will be doing Cinema Surprise, but we are deciding who gets the first pick after these plugs and after the ratings. So stick around for the Cinema Surprise reveal. Cinema Surprise is just something we will do here. That is not a separate show. You might get confused as I list off all of our different shows. That is not one of them. It is a series we do here on the Cinementalists. But neither here nor there. We also have Geek With Me, where we will be covering Alien Earth. A lot of fun. We're also going to be alternating with Peacemaker Season 2. Super exciting. Next week we have our little in-between episode between Alien Earth 1, 2 and Alien Earth 3, 4. We're going to be doing a little look back on Peacemaker Season 1, kind of discuss what we are looking forward to in Season 2, probably how it fits into the new DCU and everything. I'm very excited to kind of go into that. So we got a little Peacemaker precursor coming next week on Geek With Me. And that'll be alternating spots with Alien Earth. But so that's Geek With Me. We also have Fire Pod With Me, a Twin Peaks podcast friendly to the first-time viewer and the rewatcher alike. I'm rewatching. Joe is watching it all for the very first time. And it's such a fun time listening to him spew theories about what's this and what's that. And sometimes he's wrong. Sometimes he's horribly wrong. Sometimes he's right. And it's a lot of fun to egg on those theories no matter what. So you got to check that out. Fire Pod With Me. Regardless of if you listen to that show, you should watch Twin Peaks. No matter what, you should watch Twin Peaks anyway.
Yes.
We just also happen to have a podcast for it, so go ahead and check that out. And Cinementalists. That's what we're doing right now. This is the other thing. And we've got Cinema Surprise coming. So after the rating, we will decide and announce the first edition in this 6-part Cinema Surprise. I'm very excited. So let's rate it, and then I'll explain more there. Let's do it. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling about Alien Romulus?
Well, so it's close to Aliens, but I'm not at the 9. I know that for sure.
No,
that's where Aliens landed. I'm not there. What is the most comparable movie? I'm wondering, what is this closest to? And I do think I put it above pretty easily, Alien 3 and Resurrection. Like, this slots in as number 5, I feel like.
I agree.
Pretty easily. So I think I just know it's above Resurrection and 3. But every other movie, there's no way I could ever, I don't think, put it above. So I'm chilling. I gave Alien 3 and Resurrection a 7. I feel like it kind of middle of the road. Yeah, like an 8 flat. Kind of does feel a little good to me. It did.
All right.
It's a little. It's 7 being good. 7 is where something begins to be good, and that's kind of what this feels like, actually. So, but our ratings
that's
are
what
a little
shocked
elevated.
me. Yeah, we are very loving. We are always very loving critics. It's not a mystery. I think what is fascinating to me is I thought it fit more on the tier. My tiers are Alien in a tier of its own.
Yep.
Covenant and Prometheus. Aliens in a tier of its own. 3 and 4. I thought this joined the Aliens tier, and I don't think it even has what it takes to do that. I think it actually is in the 3 and Resurrections tier, which shocked the shit out of me upon revisiting, because surface level, it is a better movie. Like, it looks better, it sounds better, it should be better, and it's not. And I think that's even more why I think it's an even greater negative effect on it, is that it should be better.
Yeah, Resurrection at least had cool story like, I don't know, Call.
And the most original thing in this movie was actually ripped from Resurrection, which is hysterical. It's just flipped. The alien gives birth to a human-esque monster instead of the human giving birth to an alien-esque monster, you know?
So yeah, I mean, it's I feel like the look of it alone and just the production quality is what elevates it to the level that it is. But like it would have been nice if
I genuinely think 3 and 4 have more interesting ideas. Not saying they're executed better. 4 is far from executed better. You know, like 4 is not even close. Resurrection is not nearly as good a movie as this. Alien 3 gives it a little bit more of a run for its money, which is why I think that's interesting. But you giving them both 7s doesn't help you. It does help me, as I gave them different ratings.
Yeah. I think, and maybe that's just even easier for me. They're all in like the same tier. Like Alien 3 and Resurrection, the reason I like them more is they have a little bit more going for them. They're more unique. They might not be as made well, or the production quality isn't there, but I do appreciate other things. And here, it's like, man, yeah, the story could have been written a little differently or a little better, but I love what I'm looking at. I love what I'm hearing. All the actors that are in it, I'm digging. So I think actually,
and
7.
It is unquestionably, to me, more entertaining than either 3 or 4.
Yeah,
I will give it that. Like it keeps you more than those two.
Yes. Yeah. So I think I like this. Maybe giving it a little bit of a boost above them, because I do put it easy. I feel like if I'm gonna watch one out of these 3, this
out of those 3,
tier,
it is Romulus. It is.
So I think
it's less than 2 hours. Whereas with Alien 3, which is what I would go to next, the version I'd watch of it is 2.5. So it has the 30-minute. It has the 30-minute advantage over Alien 3 to me. And then Alien Resurrection, similar runtime, simply not as good. So it's like, okay, like that's an easy choice then. I'm going with Romulus. The only one that would give it a run for me is Alien 3. And I do generally think that's a more interesting movie. It has Sigourney Weaver, automatically helps. Yep. I think that it has a lot of fun ideas and dark ideas, and it knows exactly how to play with them. And so I do give that one the edge personally. I thought it was 5 for me. I think it's 6, which is wild. What did I give Alien 3? Was that an 8?
An 8, yes. You
Okay.
gave it an 8. I gave it a 7.
I'm gonna split the difference between what I gave Resurrection and what I gave Alien 3, and I think I'm gonna go 7.25.
Okay, there we go. I think I landed at a 7.5, giving it a little bit of a boost over the others. So we are at the good old 7.333, I believe. Let's see, is that how the math works? 7.38, 7.4. Yes, on the just the good old 74 percenter here.
74%, which is lower than I thought it would come to.
It did. It is. Alien 3-1 was a 7.5 overall, so just barely below Alien 3.
Yeah, because you gave it a 7, I gave it an 8. Yeah, okay.
I didn't get the 30 minutes of the movie that you got, I didn't get, so that's could only improve the Alien 3 rating. So I feel like that's a really low, or the lowest rating that Alien 3 can be. Romulus, I feel like this is the ceiling that it can get for sure.
Yeah, I think it is. I think you give this to me a year ago, it's an 85.
That's true.
I think that when I go and see it in theater, I think I'm a little more excited. I think it's a little fresher. I think that's a solid 10% better than the way I'm looking at it.
So,
but
7?
and yeah, we said all that. We said a bunch of negative stuff, and it still came to a 7.5 out of 10 or thereabouts. Like that's pretty generally considered a good movie.
Yeah. What is the good old? I haven't even just brought up an IMDb rating in a while, but I feel like this is it's got a 7.1 on IMDb. So I mean, that's
7.1 on 7.5 on for us is mean. 7.1 on IMDb is pretty solid.
Yeah, that's a very negative character development. Negative, it's derivative. And the pacing is bad and thin story. Yes, I'd agree.
I do agree.
But yeah,
I don't agree that the pacing's bad. I kind of like the pacing of this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I was sat and then I didn't really get up. I was like, well, I'm maybe not getting all I want, but hey, I'm entertained. I'm not leaving.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know that I can agree the pacing's bad. I quite like the speed with which this movie moves, but at a 74, that's a pretty that's a generally solid rating. It's pretty decent for the Cinementalists. We've had worse, we've had better. We've had better within the franchise. So, it's also one of those weird projects. It always was going to be a weird project ending with a movie that is not an ending of the franchise.
Yeah.
We did it with Lord of the Rings. We did it with Indiana Jones. We did it with Mission Impossible. All of those movies they have an ending. So it's kind of weird to just kind of split here, but it's the only option we have. It's the last Alien movie. So
the end before the TV media.
Exactly. Now we're getting Alien Earth, and we're still pushing forward with it. So I'm very excited for it. But I think with that we can discuss Cinema Surprise, and I'm very excited. So for those who do not know, we had a first season of Cinema Surprise. It was how we launched this show. It is the first 12 episodes of this show. We each got 6 picks. We alternated every week. It kicked off with Joe picking Tron Legacy, which was a super fun time. At the end of the Tron Legacy episode, I got to be like, and here's what we're covering next week. I surprised Joe, I surprised the listener, and therein, the show gets its name. Cinema Surprise. I went, yeah, we covered Tron Legacy this week. Next week, we're covering Casablanca, so that's the kind of breadth you're dealing with when it comes to Cinema Surprise. There are no holds barred. There is no rules. We did develop one rule, a single rule for this one. And it's just to get a little variance as far as time. One of the issues that we had with the first season, and not really an issue, just like something that was a little limiting, is that we were looking forward to another project, which was our top 100 of the 20s, which we did in January of this year. So we watched 5 new movies that Joe had never seen in the 12 movie project. You will not run into that again. This time, you are not allowed to pick a movie from the same decade as one that has already been viewed. So if one of us picks an 80s movie, we are done with 80s movies. If one of us picks a 2010s movie, we cannot pick another 2010s movie. And with 6 decades available, that's a lot of time, baby. We could cover some fucking ground, even if it is the last 6 decades. If it's the 20s, 10s, aughts, 90s, 80s, and 70s, that's a lot. So I'm looking forward to it because I certainly have ideas that go back further than that. So we are going to do the ceremonial coin flip, which is actually done with a remote.
Of course. It can only be done one way on this show.
This is how we do things. It is the official. And I'm very, very excited. I will be heads. Joe will be tails, as long as that is agreeable. I'm pretty sure the math is the same either way.
Yes.
Roughly. But, so, if I'm heads, Joe is tails, whoever it lands on gets the first pick and will announce what movie we are covering immediately after. So, the coin is in the air. It comes down on tails. Joe, you get to run it back.
My goodness. I will pick immediately. Well, I'm going a little older. This is a movie I've never seen. I've wanted to see it for a while. One that I've been told that I should see. And after discovering that I do love this man, I needed more Spielberg in my life. And so that's who I'm going with. And I'm choosing the decade that'll go away. Sorry if you had some older movies back in the 70s. But I'm choosing 77. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. By Steven Spielberg. Will be interesting on how to watch. I don't believe it is anywhere.
I don't think it is either.
So
I'll have to find it.
The only hurdle. So that I just
it's the modern age. We'll figure it out. It'll be fine.
So that is kind of my only worry. But I don't know. This one was kind of calling to me a little bit.
Close Encounters. No, it's been one we've long talked about. One I've never watched either. And coming off of Alien.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'm
Alien
sci-fi
movie.
Primed, an Alien primed. Yeah,
No,
I guess
yeah,
sorry
it's
to
perfect.
keep it in
It's
the vein.
No, that's okay, because my first one will certainly branch out. I wasn't thinking 70s. I did, obviously I had something picked from every decade. So this one's not a heartbreaker. But yeah,
77,
okay. The
Star
70s are
Wars.
gone.
Yeah.
And next week, next Friday, we are going to be covering Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And at the end of that episode, I will announce the week after that. So I'm very excited.
Yes.
With that, come on back next week for Close Encounters of the Third Kind, baby. Check out Geek With Me for Alien Earth coverage. And subscribe to me on Substack. I'm writing movie reviews and all sorts of shit every week, so you gotta check that out. A lot of eyes on my work helps me as I'm trying to get on the Kansas City Film Critics Circle. I would really appreciate it. Check her out. But with that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, die, motherfucker.